I'm a bit of an outsider, really. I don't really like to be part of any society. I've just always been quite an outsider. I just like that tunnel in particular because it's just nice to sort of walk into another sort of different world.
Ich weiß nicht, wie viele Leute da waren, vielleicht 1, was weiß ich, wie viele Millionen. War das ein sehr schönes Gefühl zu sehen, dass die Musik, die wir spielen, doch unwahrscheinlich viel Kraft hat, ohne Worte doch so viel mitzuteilen. Und ich glaube, die Leute, die jetzt gekommen sind aus Frankreich, aus Tokio, aus Finnland, aus Amerika, aus Detroit, von der ganzen Welt, um an diesem Happening teilzuhaben und mitzumachen. Ich glaube, das spricht für sich, da braucht man gar keine Headline mehr dafür. Und es spricht für Toleranz, Liebe und Frieden.
One day I walked into a club that a few friends were putting on, and I saw 3,000 people. I opened the doors and this heat ball hit me and threw me back, and I saw 3,000 people going mad to this music, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand what was going on. So I wanted to find out more about it, but visually it attracted me because I was looking for something visual to take as a photographer, and because I'm a fiery sort of enthusiastic person, this is just like me, party, taking pictures, loving music. What more could you ask for? Sven, this is the god of techno, okay? Revered as the god of techno in Germany. Sven opened his set playing jungle tracks, drum and bass tracks. He said, I like this, you know. know, playing drum and bass tracks for 20 minutes before he went into a whole melting pot of techno. And this techno, it had all the old romantic influences that the Detroit stuff had, as well as being hard and fast. I mean, you know, there again is new ground being broken.
Eine gewisse Identität gefunden haben, die so lange nicht da war. Man hat auch in Deutschland immer probiert zu klingen wie die Amerikaner oder zu klingen wie die Engländer, musikalisch gesehen. Und durch die Techno-Musik eigentlich wieder hier was ja, richtig wieder am Aufwachsen ist, was eigentlich schon Kraftwerk und Leute wie Tangerine Dream, Eberhard Schöner damals schon in den frühen Jahren schon angefangen haben. Diese Infrastruktur, die wir uns geschaffen haben, sprich über Labels, Schallplattenläden, Künstler, Zeitschriften, Love Parade und. Ja, da haben wir was für uns, glaube ich, gerade in Deutschland. Für einen Sound irgendwie, für den wir gegangen sind. Ja, darauf können wir schon ein bisschen stolz sein, glaube ich. Das war ein langer Weg.
Startete 1982. Ich habe damals eine Reihe von Festivals gestartet, die hieß Berlin Atonal. Und wir haben in diesem Festival immer neue musikalische Ausdrucksformen, Bild und Ton auch zusammengebracht. Und wir haben damals in Berlin angefangen mit den genialen Dilettanten. Damals war Krach, war Musik, das war neu, das war das, was aus Berlin kam. Ich hatte vorher auch als Betreiber einer Schallplattenfirma mit Industrial Bands gearbeitet, aus Sheffield und aus Chicago, Detroit. Als die Mauer gefallen war, gab es in Berlin einfach mehr Platz. Die Zeit war gut, die Stimmung in der Stadt und die Musik war gut. Sie war so weit ausgereift, dass sie auch etwas Neues darstellte. Es war eine neue Tanzeuphorie, die mich total fasziniert hatte. Und mit der musikalischen Aufbauhilfe der Jungs aus Detroit konnten wir starten und es wurde einer der ersten Adressen hier in der Stadt. Und auch, es waren einfach eine Techno-Musik, die in Amerika schon lange entwickelt war, die hier eigentlich noch sehr, sehr frisch war. Es war im Grunde die Fortführung der EBM, der Industrial Music, und es war sehr hart, es passte perfekt hier in diese Location.
here in Germany and in Europe, techno now is became such an industry, and people actually, they make a huge profit from it. You know, they sample a lot and stuff like this. This is okay because this is part of techno, but it wasn't always that way. It was a way where frequencies came together and people compose music. Honestly, now everyone samples from Detroit style stuff, or they mimic and copy a lot of Detroit artists, and they make a killing off of it. Meanwhile, people in Detroit who originally performed and wrote this music, they suffer for it because we don't have the studios or the money to come across as loud and as strong as the people who copy or are influenced by the music.
All right, this is Kevin Saunderson, Reese Project. He's part of the techno trio that really started up techno and influenced so many DJs. He's the baby of the bunch. And you have Derek May. He's the crazy man of the bunch. He's got so much energy, so high-spirited and highly strung, and it comes out in his music. His total character comes out in his music. And Juan Atkins, who really is the goddaddy of them all, because this man, he was on it from the very beginning. He was the man that taught Derek how to put his stuff together, and Kevin as well. Since the Detroit people like Juan Atkins, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, since these people were being influenced by Kraftwerk, this has become not a culture or a community in Germany, but it's become a life thing. That is where probably there is so much passion in techno music for Germany, as opposed to anywhere else in the world.
Magic tracks.
You have a great respect for Juan Atkins.
Yeah, loads of respect.
Why?
Because he made me realize it was possible to put out records without, you know, a major deal or something, that you can put out your own ideals yourself. You can be yourself when you produce music.
And she said her name was Susan, but baby, let me tell you, you're the one. I'm trying to tell you that you're the one. Baby,
I started recording totally electronic records in 1979. I was just a kid, you know, I was like 16 or 17 years old. And I was just, you know, I knew that I wanted to make a record. And that was the extent of my dream. at the moment was just to make a record and, you know, have it played and have people hear it. I had no idea that the record would travel to Europe or all over the world, to Asia, to, you know, everywhere. And I had no idea that it would influence people from so far away.
If you could just imagine what it must look like in the Titanic, I think this is a Titanic above water. Techno City, folks, at its best. Welcome home. Inside this building was a theater. And they tore out the theater. And they made a car park. But they kept the actual theater. So you're parking your car in a theater. And it's fucking scary. Amazing. Look at it, man. Can't you feel it? Can't you see it? I mean, look at these arches. They've been broken off, totally destroyed. You know, at one time where we're standing was air. People were dancing, singing in this place at one time. This was amazing. This was music. This was life. Yeah, man. It's like the Titanic, you know, like I said, it's like the Titanic. No, I don't feel sad. I feel angry. More angry, you know? Not so sad. Angry. Angry at stupid people. Because nobody cares about, in America especially, nobody cares about these kind of things, you know? People in America tend to let this kind of shit just die, let it go. No sort of respect for the history of this. This is nice. I, being a techno, electronic, futurist, high-tech musician, I totally believe in the future. But as well, I believe in a historic and well-kept past. I believe that there are some things that are important. Now, maybe this is more important like this, because in this atmosphere, you can realize just how much people don't care, how much they don't respect. And it can make you realize how much you should respect.
Detroit, probably as you've noticed, is somewhat of a depressed post-industrial city. And I think the general attitude here with the powers that be, with the government, with the local government, is that, you know, industry must die to make way for technology. I think Detroit is a city in North America that's probably experienced the technological revolution first, and I think that it affects all of the occupants of Detroit, including the artists, musicians, and what have you. And the climate has definitely affected us, and I think that we probably wouldn't have developed this sound in any other city in America other than Detroit. And I think that's the major reason why I stay here. And I haven't moved. I mean, I could have moved away, you know, ages ago. But there's a certain atmosphere here that you can't find in any other city that lends, I think, to the technological movement. I mean, you know, as far as the industry, I mean, it's so depressive. You go downtown, the major shopping stores are closed. You know, you don't see that in any other major city. You know, I mean, the biggest shopping store in downtown is boarded up. It's almost like a ghost town. You go down there right now, Saturday, it's like a ghost town. You can drive straight through. But I think somehow this lends to the creative juices, and I think that is prevalent in any artist coming from Detroit.
Down to Derek set tonight at BC's. It's my birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gonna be down there?
At the sardine bar?
No, it's at BC's.
At BC's.
Yeah, it's right next to the sardine bar.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I'll come down. All right. Thanks.
When I first started, I was a DJ. I had no idea I would end up making music. I used to be around Juan Atkins, and we were kids, man, but I learned more then. Things, fundamentals have stayed with me all my life. When I watched him, I was able to understand how to feel the air, how not just to breathe the air, but to feel the air. I learned the philosophy of how to make records speak to each other, how to make records sing to each other, how to make them talk to each other, how to make music out of music. And that philosophy of making music, with records, was something that carried over into my idea of making music as well.
There wasn't a lot to do in Detroit, and it was a few things you could do. You play sports, you go to the movies, or you get in trouble. You know, you do the wrong things. And I think I was just one of the kind of guys, even though I had my share of you know, childhood troubles and getting involved with wrong people, I was the kind of guy who wanted to stay away from that kind of stuff. And I was fortunate enough to just get into music, and it pushed me.
He's gonna pay.
Remix I done for Mike and one of my favorite. It's just one of my favorite remixes I've ever done.
How many records did you sell in all your...
Everything?
Yes,
every record?
how many?
I would say probably about 7 million. Lots of records. Darkness. Like it dark, deep. I don't know if you ever heard of Mojo, but Mojo, he played on this radio show, WGPR radar. He was a DJ. And he played different than any other DJ on the radio station. Every other record you heard was like your standard commercial record. But Bojo come on at 12 midnight. And he would play music that he played Kraftwerk, he'd play Prince, he'd play Parliament Funkadelic, B-52s, Tangerine Dream. So you got all these mixed kind of sounds, which, was never heard before until he came on, which I think definitely had a lot to do with the inspiration of music in Detroit.
Auf der Autobahn, wir fahren auf der Autobahn. Die Fahrbahn ist ein graues Band, weiße Streifen mit grüner Rand.
Kraftwerk have a name for this. It's machine music. The sounds are created at their laboratory in Düsseldorf, programmed, then recreated on stage with the minimum of fuss. This is Autobahn, based, say the group, on the rhythm of trucks, cars and passing bridges heard while driving through Germany. Last year they removed the last recognizable instrument, a violin, and built these synthetic drums. Each disc gives a different sound. Rolls, bongos, snares, just by completing the contact with the spring steel battens.
Machinery, the idea of machines and electronics and industry, especially coming from Detroit once again, industry is the main focus of just about anybody who lives here. At one point or another, everybody has a family member who works in the industry. So the effect is indirectly there. It's not necessarily a positive effect. It's also a very unaffectionate, cold effect. A machine has no love nor any feeling. And sometimes the people that work for these machines end up having no feeling nor love because they're working relentless hours, they're putting in total commitment to something that is giving nothing back. We tended to find the idea of making music subconsciously. You see, it's all subconscious. It was never anything but a subconscious thought, a subconscious emotion. We took these same ideas of machinery, not necessarily the synthesizer, but it was more or less the sound of the synthesizer, that we created our own sounds. And all these sounds, subconsciously, came from the idea of industry, of mechanics, of machines, of electronics. And why? Because we come from Detroit. And why because we come from Detroit? Because that's where our parents live, our families live, our friends live, they work, they create. And this environment created us, which in turn, socially and subconsciously again, we created all this music. When we decided to create it, we created our environment. We created things that we consider to be our environment, which is the machine music, electronic Detroit techno.
All around the world, there's music from Australia that's still like techno rhythm, like Helsinki and New York, Detroit, and it's all the same feeling, like behind it. used to do art at school. You know, the art teacher used to play like Kraftwerk. You know, that's what first got me into that sort of music. But it's, you know, there was like a lot of other music as well that I liked. But, you know, when I was younger, because like, my sister used to like funk, you know, like soul sort of music, and that's why I liked dance sort of thing in the first place. But when I was about 12, like we used to do breakdancing as well.
One more time, the Mothership Connection has brought you the people. Rubber band, Sly and the Family Stone, the Parliament, Funkadelic, so long, Houston.
It was really surprising, like in the first place when we first decided to do music. Because like, you know, we used to do music for ourselves, you know, then like we used to play in a club called the Warehouse in Leeds. Like we used to just, you know, take it on the cassette and they played it, and just one night when Warp Records, you know, they were there in the nightclub, and like everyone was just totally going mental, you know, going wild, and like we were totally surprised, and you know, like Warp said, you know, who is it? You know, they asked the DJ, you know, what record it was, but like it was just a cassette what we'd done. And went into someone's car and listened to it all, and they were just totally surprised. You know, we just thought, wow, you know, like Warp Records, and you know, they said, oh, it'll probably sell about 5,000 or 6,000, but the first one sold like 125,000 or something. You know, we were just going, you know, totally shocked, and it's all like magazines like Smash Hits and Top of the Pops like ringing up. You know, we just didn't know what to do. You know, but like we never really, you know, was into doing something, you know, to sell it loads. It was just music that we liked to do, really. It does remind me of like jazz, like music really, in a way where you can like free to do like a lot more expression, you know, instead of being restricted like with say if you're doing just pop music or just rock, like there's so many things that you've got to do, but like with techno you can get away with a lot more, you know, like people, you know, give it a chance. The reason why I prefer like a home studio is that you can do music like any time. You know, if you've got to hire out a studio, you know, you've only got say 5 hours or 6 hours or something like that. Especially like so if you've just seen a film or you've been to a club or something and you really want to do something, you can just do it straight away. If you go to other studios, there's always like engineers like saying, no, you shouldn't do that, that's too loud, or you know, that's too quiet. And, you know, if it sounds good, it sounds good, like you should just record it.
We get a lot of tapes sent of music that sounds like the music we've already put out, but that's not the music we're looking for. We're looking for the next stage of music that excites us, basically. But then we try and sell as many as possible. We don't try and keep it underground, but we won't compromise the music, that's the main thing. To me, the original techno is the music that came from Detroit, from the originators like Derek May, obviously, on the Transmat label. But now it's a much broader genre. I think it just describes basically new music that's pushing forward the barriers, music that's electronic and doesn't sound like anything else.
years ago. And the reason it's tentatively called the 10th planet is because, you know, the asteroid fields between Mars and Jupiter, that was once a planet.
Really?
But it got destroyed billions of years ago, and so what he's doing in between the Mars and Jupiter, clustering all them asteroids together, he's creating a small little planet. And that's going to be called the 10th planet, you see.
That is a 10th planet.
Yeah, that's going to be the 10th planet. But the thing about the 10th planet is supposedly 9 planets in the solar system, right?
Yeah.
Okay, each planet is a musical note. And it's 10 notes in a scale or something like that, and the 10th planet will complete the scale.
Dig that.
Yeah.
That's cool shit, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
See, it had to all come together. See, before, when you say, okay, he needs something by tomorrow, see, it just wasn't coming together. This is all coming together. And it has a musical basis to have it make sense.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, this is the how you say it again?
It's Technomicron.
And what does the Technomicron mean?
That's the disc. That's the disc that shattered into 1,000 pieces that had all their powers in it. You know, it contains all the information that they had worked on for thousands of years. Yeah.
All right. So we can put this on the website, look it up.
Yeah.
Basically, you can build a whole story around these dudes, right?
Yeah. The Technolords were powerful people thousands of years ago, and they breached reality using technology rather than inner powers like ancient traditions. And so they created different worlds.
Now, who is my man exactly?
Now, this is the last one. He's the only remaining survivor of a great cataclysm that destroyed their whole civilization.
Initiating sequence. 3, 2, 1. Ignite. What? All engines emergency shutdown. Engage air brakes. We're not going to make it.
すごくもうちっちゃい子10歳ぐらいの時だったと思うんですけど、ある時そのイエローマジックオーケストラっていうのを全然知らなかったんですけど、友達の家行ったらそれがかかってて、なんかゲームで遊んでた音となんか同じような音で面白いな。そういう人たちのその音楽だけを聴いて、僕らなんかやっぱりそれに影響されてる部分があって、今インターネットとかのあり方と似てるんだけれども、やっぱりどんどん音楽っていうのがまず個人の単位でこう作れるようになってきて、それがどんどんそれは細分化をやっぱり意味すると思う。個人個人でこう本当に自分の要素だけで音楽が作れるんで、世界中もう個人個人でいろんな音楽がまず細分化していっぱいできるようになると思う。それからやっぱりそのいっぱいになったものがまた再びこう融合とかし始めて、またさらに新しい音楽が生まれてくる。
meses ya, 4 meses. Hablar con un amigo.
Desde luego el denominador común del festival no es la máquina, sino las personas que están detrás de las máquinas. Siempre es más interesante el artista que la máquina que está utilizando. Pienso que sí hay una cultura techno, pero pienso que no es lo más interesante la cultura techno en sí, sobre todo si está directamente asociada a un fenómeno rave. Pienso que es mucho más interesante lo que ha significado la música de baile en general para que la gente perdiera prejuicios y abriera su mente hacia nuevos sonidos.
But do you have the feeling it's modern or it's old?
Oh, definitely old, but by a radical thinking person at that time, which cuts into modern sort of like now. I wanted to tell the people who would sort of put music into our like record collections 10 years ago, basically amazing music that got us into electronics and stuff, and you want to go back there to Detroit and tell them how good they are and that they're really important to you, but they'll never really understand what they're responsible for, which is quite difficult because you can't tell them that without sounding offensive. So that's a bit of a struggle, trying to sort of communicate and actually break down barriers and speak to them properly about the actual hardcore elements of the music that we're both obviously into so much.
Document this, because you might walk out the houses tomorrow and get hit by a piano over your head. So you need to do it. I mean, just let him go over there and film you down in the record shop, just talking on the telephone, or just give him 10 minutes, man. Just 10 minutes. Come on, Mike. Because I want to get everybody from Detroit. I just would ask you to please give them a chance. No, nothing like that. They're not even filming that kind of atmosphere. They're looking for you to take them where you want to be seen, where you, the elements that you want to be seen in, how you want to be presented. It's your opportunity to more or less come across the way you want to come across. It's got nothing to do with maximization or trying to exploit a brother. Nothing like that. Yeah, and I wouldn't push you for this if I didn't think it was good for you. It's good for you. It's good for you too. Anyway, so you're gonna be an hour? Okay. Bye-bye. 1 hour.
Just intend on with Submerge maintaining a direct link from Detroit artists to the world with no interruption. And that's our focus, to continue the musical tradition that Detroit is so proud of, and to keep our opinion, an inner city opinion in this music. Things have to change in the 1990s when in the early 1500s and 1400s the American Indians taught Europeans how to live through the winter here in America, and you see what they got for it in return. Fuck. They got nothing. This is a lot of pressure for me to do this. I do want people to know our situation, but at the same time, you can't come here and constantly take and borrow and take from us and not expect us to want something back. Thank you.
A lot of white kids asking black kids, is this a black style of music? And it's almost like there's always trying to be some kind of connotation put on the music. But to answer your question, it'd be stupid for any race to claim any kind of music. Techno, the influences that we had were both black and white. I mean, Kraftwerk was the people we grew up with, so they're obviously German, German descent. So by coming over here and us listening to it, and by us listening to black-based music like Parliament and Funkadelic and all those kind of bands, you mix your own, concoction, and it comes out. If it's more funky, then so be it. But if you were to do a really good techno record, there's no way you're going to be able to sit here and tell me that if you didn't know who it was, you'd be able to say this guy's black or white. It depends on your influences. If the white guy was listening to some same stuff I was listening to, it probably sound the same exact way. So, soul music, I don't know. It might be a soul within the music, not like soul, like black soul, but just like this entity. A lot of people do have problems with us using machines. It's the same way if you're someone who picks up a guitar and expresses himself that way. We just use a different medium. We use a keyboard or synthesizer. I have no problem with the machines. Machines are your friends. They're to be loved.
This is the music of the future, you know, as well as blues or anything else. This is laying down its foundation now for the next 25 years. Rock and roll was always considered to be for rock and rollers. Soul music was always considered to be for people that enjoyed soul music. But electronic music was always for the intellectual. The mentality was always for the intellect. It was the alternative to all of that shit.
We're now in an age of global communication, of the internet, you know, of satellite communication, of cell phones, you know, the whole thing that makes it very, very easy to bypass the media bullshit. Things should move faster if we don't accept and kowtow to the restraints of the ghettos that are put upon us just for the convenience of marketing. Marketing really is the devil, the demon of our current society. You know, all that kind of bullshit, racking, how to sell something by conveniently labeling it, you know, it's bullshit. You know, the human moves faster than that. We all move faster than that. We think, we dream faster than that. You know, we should be able to move at the speed we want to move at, not to be ghettoized. And so I think that technology is just something that we are going through on our way to something else. When you have the exactness of the machine, the human moves across it, and that's a very, very beautiful kinetic energy. We have moved forward. We've incorporated electronics, we've incorporated freeform, jazz, DJ, tribal music, ethnic kind of forms of music. Flamenco, wonderful, fantastic. Flamenco must be the greatest form of dance music I've ever heard in my life. That's not electronic. There's always something to learn from the past to create the future. Electronics, just a tool, just another tool to allow us to liberate our spirit.
Every second is a beginning of something, you know.
things we're doing now, we're only not so far removed from the stuff people were doing in the early 1920s. You know, there was a lot of mechanical music being made and stuff. If you try and compare to what we're doing now to what people will be doing in 100 years, it'll be so far removed. It'll be the same difference.
Es war ein langer Weg.
We're just exploring sounds, sonic areas.
The less people you've got telling you what to do, the better.
Things have to change in the 1990s.
We're just exploring sounds, sonic areas. They're just headspace, you know? And that's the only area we can describe.
Feasibly, in 10 years, music could be so far removed from what it is now. I mean, it can't even be conceived. Definitely technology's speeding things up. People are finding it much easier to go as far as they want to go into any area, so they can take an idea, expand upon it. Whereas beforehand it would have taken lots of mathematics and notation and trained musicians who know exactly when to play what bits and stuff, you know. A very laborious process.
When we decided to create it, we created our environment. We created things that we consider to be our environment, which is the machine music.
Each planet is a music note, and the 10th planet will complete the scale.
Did that?
Yeah!
This is the music of the future.
It's kind of like you get escape feel off some of it, in that you feel that you're somewhere else, perhaps.
We certainly don't preempt any reactions or even respond to our own reactions. We do that once we've recorded and finished a track. We'll react to it after the event.
We don't think about what it's going to be. It just becomes, basically. Every second is a beginning of something, you know.